This video is about a simple 3-question system that you can use to build better and more effective websites and web pages. And it will help you resist one of the biggest temptations that web designers and online marketers face every day. We use WordPress obviously, and one of the greatest things about WordPress is how extensible it is. There's all these features and plugins and widgets you can add, but with that also comes the temptation to want to add all this stuff, right? You see all these delicious looking, amazing looking extensions and plugins, and so you want to use them all. But then the result is, if there's too much going on a page, it just becomes overwhelming to your visitors. And there's a conflict, right? If there's too many things to do, it's like, contact form here, little widget here, something pops up there, and 100 buttons and images and things on the page. There's this huge conflict because it's not clear to the visitor what should I do next and which one of these things is the most important. And that's why I've developed this 3-question system that you can use to streamline your websites and web pages. The idea is that you apply these 3 questions to every single element on the page. And yes, I really mean every element. So every image, every link, every single element on the page should be able to pass this 3-question litmus test. So question number 1 is, what is the business purpose of this element? In my business, what I do is I have a very simple 2-priority system. I call this content and conversions. So any element on my page has to either have a purpose in delivering better content or have a purpose in leading my visitors towards a conversion goal. These are the only 2 things I really want to do on this website, right? I want to deliver great content that's useful to people, and I want to turn visitors into subscribers or customers. So every single element on the page has to fulfill one or both of these purposes, and if it doesn't, I can remove it. I think the same thing applies to pretty much any business. There are some exceptions where maybe this content and conversion thing doesn't exactly apply to your business, but whatever it is, be very careful about adding too many things to that list, right? If you have a list of purposes and it's 10 items, that's too much. You need clear priorities. So if you have like 1 or maybe 2 priorities that each element on your website has to fulfill, that is good. If it's more than that, again, you're going to have overload on your pages. Question number 2 is, if I removed this element, would it do any harm? So that's a pretty simple question, right? If I look at, again, my business purpose, what's this website supposed to do? And I look at any single element and I go, well, can I just remove this? Can I just get rid of this? And it won't do any harm. If the answer is yes, then you should probably remove it. It is much, much better to have a page with less stuff on it. I mean, think of it like this. If you can achieve the same goal, but with less stuff on your page, that's always better. Even if it's just for the simple reason that it improves your page speed, right? If you have a page with less stuff on it, that page will be faster and that will help your conversions. So if you can get the same goal with less stuff on the page, that's always good. And that's what question number 2 is there to find out. And then question number 3 is, could I use the space that this element takes up for something more useful? Now, this question is especially important for your above the fold content. So for the content that appears without scrolling on the first screen. And it's especially important also for shorter pages, such as maybe lead generation pages. Because here again, the temptation is, there's all these different things that are important to me, all these different messages that I want to get across. But it's about more than just, is everything that's here important? It's also about, how am I actually using this limited amount of space? Is there a better way for me to use this limited amount of space? So those are the 3 questions. Number 1, what is the business purpose of this element? Number 2, could I remove this element and do no harm? And number 3 is, could I use the space this element takes for something more useful? Now, it's quite difficult to go through your page or go through your website and apply this. It's quite difficult because very often an element that you might be dear to you, that you really like, will not pass these 3 questions, and you'll have to remove it. That can be a bit of a painful process, but if you get good at doing this, then first of all, you'll start doing it as you're building things, right? Before you even add something, you go, wait a minute, and you go through these 3 questions in your head, and then maybe you change your mind and you don't even add it in the first place. And it makes your website and web page building more efficient. And in general, if you get good at this, kind of pruning and streamlining of pages, you will get very good at building highly effective and conversion boosting pages. So it's a really good skill to have. So go ahead and try this on some of your pages. Try it on your homepage, for example. It's a great target for this as a practice exercise. And if you get stuck anywhere, let me know, leave a comment below. Also, if you're looking at an element on your page and you're not quite sure, how does this pass the 3 questions or not? Feel free to leave a comment below. I'll have a look at it and let you know what my opinion is. And also, this entire website that you're looking at right now should pass this 3-question test. So feel free to call me out, right? If you're seeing something on the Thrive Themes website where you go, wait a minute, how does this pass the 3 questions? Feel free to call me out, right? If you want to hear like my answers to the 3 questions for something on this site, please feel free to call me out and I'll be happy to answer. All right, thank you for watching and I hope you get great use out of this. I'll see you in the next video.